All right, everyone, strap in. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of Elon Musk.
Sounds exciting.
It is. We're going to be focusing on the big, audacious challenges he seems drawn to.
Right, like he's looking way into the future while most of us are just, dealing with today.
Exactly. Our main source for this deep dive is this podcast called Elon Musk's Ultimate Challenge: SpaceX, AI, and the Future. We're going to try to untangle what Musk is trying to achieve, the roadblocks he's up against, and what it all could mean down the line. What do you think is the most mind-blowing thing Musk is trying to do?
Oh, tough question, but gotta be that whole colonizing Mars thing with SpaceX, right? Making humans a multiplanetary species, that's straight out of sci-fi.
Right, like, it seems impossible. Why does he think it's necessary?
Well, he's convinced Earth is super vulnerable. Asteroids, pandemics, even ourselves, he sees a Mars colony as our backup plan.
A backup planet. I get the logic, but how do you even start to tackle that? The cost alone would be.
Astronomical, literally.
Haha, yeah. And creating a whole life support system on Mars. The mental toll on people making a one-way trip.
It's all mind-boggling, but SpaceX is actually making progress. Their Starship program, designed to carry up to 100 people to Mars, it's already in development.
Wow, so he's actually trying to build the thing. It's hard to grasp that, but can he really pull this off? Lots of experts are skeptical about his timelines.
Oh, definitely they are. But remember, Musk has a knack for proving doubters wrong. Look at Tesla. He made electric cars cool, made reusable rockets a thing.
True, he does have a track record of defying the odds. It's wild how he's going for the stars with SpaceX, but also super wary of AI.
Seems like a contradiction.
It does, embracing one super advanced tech while fearing another.
I think Musk is kind of playing 3D chess with the future, securing humanity's survival in space and navigating the potential dangers of AI. They're both part of his big plan.
So why is he so worried about AI? It's already a big part of our lives, mostly good stuff.
Yeah, but Musk is worried about superintelligence AI that gets so smart it surpasses humans, maybe even develops its own goals, and not necessarily ones we like. Imagine an AI that sees humans as, inefficient, a problem.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's when you get scenarios like widespread job loss, or even worse, AI basically taking over.
Okay, now I'm getting a little freaked out. So how does Musk plan to stop this AI apocalypse?
He's got a two-pronged approach. He co-founded OpenAI to create beneficial AI, but then he left and started XAR, which aims to create truth-seeking AI that aligns with human interests.
So hedging his bets, guiding AI development down a safe path, but also preparing for the worst. Pretty clever.
It is, and then there's Neuralink, maybe his wildest venture yet. He thinks brain-computer interfaces are how we keep up with AI. Neuralink is all about enhancing our brains, maybe even merging with AI.
Hold on, are we talking brain implants? Like becoming cyborgs?
Yeah, sounds crazy, but the potential upsides are huge. Think downloading knowledge straight to your brain, telepathic communication, maybe even curing those awful neurological diseases.
This is like something out of a movie. But seriously, how far off is all this?
Widespread Neuralink adoption is way down the road. They're just starting clinical trials, so it's early days. Plus, there are massive ethical questions we haven't even started to address.
Like, who gets access to this tech? What happens to our sense of self if we merge with machines? Big questions. So we've got space travel, AI, brain implants. Is there anything this guy ISN trying to change?
He does like a challenge. But let's bring things back down to earth for a bit and talk about Tesla.
Tesla. They flipped the car industry on its head. They came out of nowhere and left traditional car companies scrambling.
It's pretty remarkable. They showed everyone that electric cars could be awesome and desirable, not just, good for the environment.
They're not just selling cars, they're selling a whole vision of the future. And then there's X, formerly Twitter. That acquisition has been, well, a wild ride.
That's putting it mildly. Musk came in talking about free speech and this digital town square, but now he's grappling with content moderation and how to prevent harm on a platform that big.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster. Like, he's trying to balance his ideals with the messy reality of running a platform with billions of users.
But it fits his pattern, right? Pushing for huge change, even if it means ruffling feathers. He's not scared to rock the boat. And let's not forget the Boring Company and the Hyperloop, his ventures into tunneling and high-speed transportation. The guy just doesn't stop.
So the big question with all these crazy ambitious goals, can he actually pull it off? Can one person achieve all this?
That's the question everyone's asking. He's known for setting crazy deadlines and not always meeting them. But then again, look what he's already done with Tesla and SpaceX.
Right. Those companies faced tons of skepticism at the beginning, and now look at them. It's like he thrives on proving everyone wrong.
He does seem to enjoy that. But even for him, these new challenges are massive. It's not just about technology anymore. It's about politics, money, and even fundamental limits of science.
Yeah, it sounds like the biggest hurdles fall into three categories: regulations and politics, funding, and technology itself. Can you break those down a bit?
Sure. With space colonization, for example, it's not just about building rockets. You've got international treaties, potential land grabs on other planets, a whole legal and ethical minefield that's barely defined.
And then there's AI, which brings up tons of questions about, like, who's responsible if things go wrong, AI bias, potential misuse, plus the whole impact on jobs and the economy.
Right. And with digital platforms like X, you have content moderation, misinformation, finding that balance between free speech and protecting people. It's not just about code, it's about society, governments, everyone.
Sounds like even if Musk cracks the technical side, he still has to navigate this giant web of rules and politics. Not easy. And then there's the money. Even with his fortune, some of this stuff seems impossibly expensive.
Absolutely. Colonizing Mars could cost trillions. Developing safe AI needs constant investment. Even Musk has limits. He'll need to get investors, governments, maybe even the public on board.
That's a tall order. And finally, the technology itself. Some ideas, like merging our minds with AI, seem beyond what we can do right now, scientifically.
Totally. Some experts think things like true artificial general intelligence are decades, maybe centuries away. Even Musk might hit a wall there.
This is a lot to take in. So, bottom line, what are the chances he achieves all this? It's like he's trying to reshape humanity.
It's impossible to say for sure. So many factors at play, and the stakes are enormous. But I think Musk's biggest challenge isn't tech or money. It's convincing the world to buy into his vision.
That's interesting. So much of what he's doing requires not just new gadgets, but a change in how we think about ourselves, our relationship with technology, our place in the universe.
Exactly. Musk's success depends not just on his own brilliance, but on whether he can inspire others, rally support, and convince humanity to join him on this crazy ride.
Wow, when you put it that way, it's both exciting and kind of scary.
It is, because we're talking about potentially reshaping civilization as we know it. The impact on our lives would be huge in ways we can't even imagine yet.
I'm definitely going to be thinking about this for a while. It's been a real eye-opener so far.
It has. It makes you realize that all these seemingly far-out things, they're not so far out anymore. We're all part of this story, whether we realize it or not.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive. We want to help you understand these forces that are shaping our world right now.
Right. It's about equipping you with the knowledge and insights you need to navigate this world that's changing so fast, to make smart choices, have those important conversations, and help create a future we can all be proud of.
Well said. Knowledge is power, right? The more we understand, the better equipped we are to face whatever comes next.
Absolutely. It's about taking control of our own destiny and steering humanity toward a brighter future. So, as we head into the last stretch of our deep dive, let's take stock of what we've learned so far. What are the big picture takeaways for our listeners?
Well, first and foremost, Elon Musk is a force of nature, for better or for worse. He's pushing boundaries in so many fields, his impact is undeniable, and his ambition seems limitless.
Yeah, he's constantly pushing the envelope, challenging the way things are done, not afraid to dream big and take risks. But we also need to be aware of the potential downsides. There are valid concerns about the ethics of his work, the unintended consequences, and the sheer scale of his vision. He's been called reckless, even dangerous, and those concerns are not to be taken lightly.
And there's that whole question of his wealth and power. Does one person having that much control over these technologies that are shaping the future, is that a good thing?
It's a valid concern. We need checks and balances to make sure no one person or company has too much power, especially when it comes to technologies with such huge potential impact.
It seems like a mixed bag then. Musk is doing amazing, innovative things, but there are also serious questions we need to be asking.
Exactly. It's crucial to be critical, to acknowledge the good while staying aware of the risks, demanding transparency, and holding him accountable.
We can't just be passive spectators in this whole thing. The stakes are way too high.
Right. We need to actively shape the narrative, ask tough questions, and make sure those in power are held responsible. So for this final part of our deep dive, let's get to the heart of it all. What is Musk's ultimate vision for humanity? What kind of world is he trying to create? That's the million-dollar question, and probably no one knows for sure, but we can get some clues from his actions, his words, and the direction he's taking his companies. I think, at his core, Musk believes that technology can solve our biggest problems.
He sees it as a tool for progress, pushing boundaries, expanding our horizons, and ultimately ensuring our survival.
Exactly. He's not just patching things up, he wants to address the root causes, and he believes that technology, if used wisely, can unlock a future of abundance, prosperity, maybe even a kind of transcendence.
But he also sees the dangers of tech, right? How it can be misused, how it can create as many problems as it solves. That's where his cautious side, his paranoia even, comes in.
He's not naive about the downsides. He knows technology can be a double-edged sword. That's why he's so focused on safeguards, making sure AI aligns with human values, pushing for responsible innovation that benefits everyone, not just a select few.
It's a delicate balance, embracing the power of technology while also trying to control it.
It is, and that's why it's so important to have these conversations, challenge assumptions, demand transparency, and hold those in power accountable. We can't just sit back and watch. We create the future, not the other way around.
That's a powerful message, and it's a responsibility we all share. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to hear from you, the listener. What are your thoughts? What resonates with you? What are you worried about? What excites you?
Think about the ideas we've talked about, the questions we've raised, the challenges ahead. The future isn't set in stone. We create it together through our choices, our actions, and our shared vision. It really is a pivotal time, isn't it? Like, the choices we make now will echo for, centuries. And we're all part of this huge experiment, whether we realize it or not.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it that way. But zooming back in on Musk himself, what do you think are the key things that will decide if he succeeds with all this?
Well, it's a complicated equation, but I think three things are crucial. First, he needs to keep attracting the best and brightest minds. His companies are known for being talent magnets.
That's true. People are drawn to his companies not just for the challenge, but because they believe in his mission. They want to be part of something groundbreaking, world-changing.
Exactly. They're inspired by his audacity and his willingness to push the limits of what's possible. The second thing is navigating the regulations, which are constantly changing. We talked about how many of his ventures are really pushing the envelope legally and ethically.
He's going to need to be super strategic and politically savvy to get these projects going and keep them moving forward, especially with governments and regulators worldwide trying to figure out all these new technologies.
Absolutely. It's a tightrope walk requiring a deep understanding of politics and building consensus among all these different stakeholders. And finally, maybe the most important thing of all is keeping the public on his side. He's definitely a polarizing figure, but he's also got this huge, devoted following who believe in his vision.
It's true. He's like a tech rock star. He has that charisma and that ability to inspire and mobilize people, get them excited about the future he's building.
Exactly. And that kind of public support can be really powerful, especially when it comes to influencing policy, shaping public opinion, and attracting investors. It's like a superpower that can help him break through barriers and speed things up.
So it sounds like Musk's success hinges on this mix of technological innovation, political maneuvering, and winning over the public. A potent combination, but one that needs constant attention and careful handling.
Exactly. It's a high-stakes game, and the outcome is uncertain. But the potential payoffs are so big that the risks almost seem secondary.
It's exciting and a little bit terrifying, to be honest. We're talking about potentially changing civilization as we know it. The impact on our lives could be huge in ways we can't even grasp yet.
That's the thing about Musk. He's not content with small steps. He's aiming for nothing less than a fundamental shift in humanity's trajectory. It's a bold vision that could either launch us to new heights or send us down a dangerous path.
He's basically asking us to choose between two completely different futures. One where we stick to what we know, stay on Earth, and face the consequences. The growing threat of climate change, dwindling resources, the potential for society to crumble because of technology.
And the other where we embrace the unknown, go out into space, and push human potential beyond what we thought possible. A future where we merge with technology, overcome our biological limits, maybe even achieve a kind of immortality through digital consciousness.
It's a choice that's both exhilarating and terrifying, a choice that will define not just our lives, but the future of our species. And it's a choice that's coming at us fast. We can't just ignore it.
We can't. It's time to face these questions head on, to have those tough conversations about the kind of future we want, to weigh the pros and cons of all these new technologies, and to decide what role we want to play in shaping where humanity goes from here.
This deep dive has been incredible so far. It's really opened my eyes to the scale of what we're facing, both the challenges and the possibilities. It's made me realize that we're all part of this, whether we want to be or not. Our choices, our actions, our beliefs, they all matter.
They do. And that's exactly why we do this deep dive, to help you, the listener, understand the forces shaping our world, the challenges we face, and the solutions that are emerging.
It's about giving you the knowledge and insights you need to navigate this complex and rapidly changing world, to make informed decisions, have meaningful conversations, and contribute to a future we can all be proud of.
Right. Knowledge is power. The more we know, the better equipped we'll be to face whatever's coming, to grab the reins of our own destiny and steer humanity towards a brighter future.
So as we go into the final part of our deep dive into Elon Musk's world, let's pause and think about what we've learned. What are the big picture things our listeners should be thinking about?
Well, the first thing is Elon Musk is a force to be reckoned with. He's a visionary, an innovator, a disruptor who's pushing boundaries in space, AI, sustainable energy, you name it. His impact is huge, and his ambition seems to have no limits.
Yeah, he's relentless, always pushing the limits, challenging conventional wisdom. He's not afraid to dream big and take risks, even when people doubt him. But we also need to acknowledge that his ventures come with risks and controversy.
That's right. There are legitimate worries about the ethical implications of his work, the possibility of unintended consequences, and just the sheer scale of his ambitions. Some people criticize his methods, how he handles criticism, and his tendency to overpromise and underdeliver. He's been called reckless, even dangerous, and we can't just dismiss those concerns.
And then there's the whole issue of how much wealth and power he has. Some say he has too much influence over key technologies that will shape the future of humanity. That this much power in the hands of one person, no matter how well-intentioned, is inherently risky.
It's a valid concern, and one we need to think about carefully. We need checks and balances to make sure no single person or corporation has unchecked power, especially when it comes to technologies that could have such a profound impact on society.
So it's a mixed bag then. Musk is doing incredible, innovative things that could be really beneficial, but there are also some serious red flags that we need to consider.
It's complicated, for sure. I think the takeaway is that we need to approach Musk and his companies with a critical eye, to recognize the potential good while also staying aware of the risks, demanding transparency, and holding him accountable for his actions and their impact on society.
It's about being informed and engaged, not just watching from the sidelines.
Absolutely, and it's not over yet. The story is still being written, and we all have a role in shaping it. It's about making choices, having conversations, and taking action.
So as we move into the last part of our deep dive, let's shift focus and explore the core question. What is Musk's ultimate vision for humanity? What kind of world is he trying to create?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I don't think anyone can definitively answer it, but we can look at his actions, his statements, and the direction of his companies to get some clues. I think, deep down, Musk truly believes technology can solve our biggest problems.
He sees technology as this tool for progress, pushing boundaries, expanding our horizons, and ultimately making sure we survive as a species.
Exactly. He's not just putting band-aids on things. He wants to get to the root of the problems. And he believes technology, if used the right way, can unlock a future where we have more than enough, where we prosper, and maybe even transcend our current limitations.
But he also recognizes the dangers of tech, right? How it can be misused, how it can create as many problems as it solves. That's where his cautious side, that almost paranoia, comes in.
He's not naive about the potential downsides. He understands that technology can be a double-edged sword, and that's why he's so focused on building in safeguards, making sure AI is aligned with human values, and pushing for a responsible innovation that benefits everyone, not just a privileged few.
It's a delicate balancing act, isn't it? Embracing the power of technology, but also trying to control it. It's like walking a tightrope between progress and disaster.
It is, and that's why it's so crucial to have these conversations, to challenge assumptions, demand transparency, and hold those in power accountable. We can't afford to be complacent. The future is not something that just happens to us. We create it.
That's a powerful thought. And it's a responsibility we all share. So as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to turn it over to you, the listener. What are your thoughts on all of this?
What stands out to you? What worries you? What gives you hope? Take some time to think about the ideas we've discussed, the questions we've raised, the challenges we've outlined, because in the end, the future is not predetermined. We create it together through our choices, our actions, and our collective vision.
You know, it's amazing how Musk always seems to spark these intense debates. People either love him or hate him. There's no middle ground.
It shows you how powerful and disruptive his ideas are, how huge his ambitions are. He's constantly shaking things up, pushing the limits of what people think is possible, and that's bound to make some people uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like he's holding up this mirror to society, making us face our hopes and fears about the future. And those reflections can be inspiring, but also a little scary.
Definitely. He represents the amazing potential of human innovation, but also those ethical dilemmas and unintended consequences that come with rapid technological advancement.
So after going this deep into Musk's world, what's your take? Do you think he's ultimately a force for good?
Oh man, that's the question, isn't it? The one everyone's asking. It's not an easy yes or no. On the one hand, a lot of his goals, like switching to sustainable energy, exploring space, developing safe AI, those seem like good things for humanity, right?
But there's always a but with Musk, isn't there?
There is. His ways of doing things often cause controversies, and we don't always know the long-term effects of what he's doing. There are valid criticisms about how he treats his workers, how he deals with criticism, and that tendency to overpromise and not always deliver on time.
And we can't forget about the sheer amount of wealth and power he has. Some people argue it's just too much for one person to have, especially with control over technologies that will shape all our futures.
That's a real concern. It raises questions about checks and balances, accountability, and the potential for any one person or company, no matter how good their intentions, to have too much sway over where technology goes.
So it's kind of a mixed bag. Musk is doing these incredible things, pushing us forward, but there are definitely some red flags we should be paying attention to.
I think that's a good way to put it. The takeaway is that we need to look at Musk and his ventures critically. Recognize the potential benefits, but stay aware of the risks, demand transparency, and hold him accountable for what he does and how it affects society.
It's about being informed and engaged, not just sitting back and watching.
Exactly. And the story isn't finished yet. We're all writing it through the choices we make, the conversations we have, and the actions we take.
So if you could ask Musk one question, knowing everything we've discussed about his ambitions, motivations, and the potential impact of his work, what would it be?
That's a good one. I think the most important question to ask him would be, what is your ultimate vision for humanity? What kind of world are you trying to build?
That's a great question. I bet his answer would be as complex and multifaceted as he is, but it would tell us a lot about what drives him, his values, and his hopes for the future.
It would give us a better understanding of the path he's laying out for us, whether we choose to follow it wholeheartedly, proceed with caution, or actively resist it. The future isn't something that's set in stone. It's a journey we're all on together.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of Elon Musk. We've explored his audacious goals, the massive challenges he faces, the possible benefits, and the risks that come with it all. It's been quite a journey, and we hope you found it as insightful and thought-provoking as we have.
As always, we encourage you to keep digging into these ideas, explore the topics that resonate with you, and have those important conversations about the future we're building together.
And remember, the future isn't something that just happens. We shape it, so stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. Until next time, keep diving deep.